they don't, which often there are drugs that are not covered by your plans, this card is going to give you a discount on that. And it's for, again, I can't stress enough, this is for everyone. There's also a mail order program you can participate in, and you can go online to Caremark or call the toll-free number and they'll get you set up with purchasing drugs through the mail order program, which you will find tremendous discounts in regards to that. We will have a website set up in which you can go to. You can go to Caremark. This handout that I have for you gives you the website information on this. And we have distributed this in a number of locations. If you go to page 7, we have a list of locations where these cards are going to be distributed to you, and that's Willits Integrated Services here in Willits, Social Services of Ukiah, Mental Health in Ukiah, Job Alliance in Ukiah, Veteran Services on Talmadge Road, Social Services Fort Bragg, Mental Health Fort Bragg, Animal Care and Control on Plank Road, Public Health, and then we also are distributing the cards to every participating pharmacy within our county. And the pharmacies that are going to honor this discount drug card are Blue Drug, all Safeway pharmacies, all Rite Aid pharmacies, Rayleigh's, Myers Apothecary, Walgreens, Long's Drugs, Willits Pharmacy, Arena Pharmacy, which is in Point Arena, Gualala Pharmacy, Mendocino Village Pharmacy, Fort Bragg Pharmacy, and Breslin Pharmacy. We've contacted them all. They're going to receive copies of these cards for distribution for anybody who comes up to the counter. They'll be able to say, here, try this card. This will help you with your prescription drug. The exciting thing about this card is that, again, this is a card that is accessible to everybody and anybody who can benefit from getting a discount on their prescription drugs. How you can use it for your pet prescriptions is in the same way. If your veterinarian is prescribing a prescription drug for your pet that you can obtain at a pharmacy, which is quite often true, you're going to get the same kind of discount on that pet prescription drug. I'd love to answer some questions now if anybody has any questions. If the chair or supervisors have questions right now.
To the board. I think it's great. See no downside to it.
Well, there is a downside to it. That is that, and again, I appreciate the effort that's been put into it because it is a system that allows things to happen. But if it's available to everybody, why in the world do you need a card? Why don't these pharmacies simply say, we come here and we will reduce our prices by 20%? The reason they're not doing that, in my opinion, is because the National Association of Counties has put this out as kind of a flagship program, that they are actually doing something about the outrageous increase in prices of medications and the social differences between those who can afford or not afford these particular programs. So I see no need for a card, and I think here NACO would much better allocate its resources to addressing the real problems of health and the price of prescriptions for all citizens in the county, rather than putting out something like this. Now, I'm raining on your parade, but again, sometimes parades have to get going to get people to talk about these things. So I don't expect you to defend NACO or the program. My criticism here is not, of course, of this program as such. It maybe opens a window, and I feel compelled here to say it's a window, but NACO really should be addressing these things. We pay a good bit of money each year to have membership in NACO, and this is something that we can say, hey, they're doing something. My only point is they're not doing enough, and they're making it something of a sideshow by having the cards out there. Because if they simply say, hey, we've gone to the trouble of getting these pharmacies to reduce their prices 20% to everybody in Mendocino County, it wouldn't have the wider face that, hey, I've got a card and I got a good deal. You don't have a card, you didn't get a good deal. And so it's a PR relationship, in my opinion, that really doesn't begin to address probably America's leading social problem, which is the cost of health care in the country. today, an increasing cost of healthcare, which we spend as supervisors an enormous, and you do too, of course. We spend an enormous amount of time discussing and not coming up with real solutions to a very important problem. So even though I'm raining on your parade, thank you for what you're doing. We really do appreciate it.
Thank you, I think.
Somewhat like a leaky umbrella, thank you, Dave.
If I could comment, one comment, and this is not a defense, NACO has started a trend. Since NACO, we have received information from other prescription drug distributors who are also trying to get on this bandwagon of offering a discount. So, if all prescription drug carriers start offering discounts, that is a way to bring down the cost of it. So NACO was on the cutting edge of doing this and has started a trend that other companies are trying to jump on the bandwagon with. So, and we are now comparing to see who's going to give us the better deal. So
Before you move to the next step,
Yes.
Supervisor Smith.
Thank you. Well, I think that why this trend of reducing costs is coming along is because basically the ship is sinking. I mean, healthcare is in, I think a no return to sanity mode, and we're going to have to be significant changes. So basically, I think this is just readdressing the mandate on a very, very serious problem that's being passed on to us, passed on to NACO, passed on to you. We're supposed to mobilize and get cards to once again just fix something that is not going to be fixed in this manner. I mean, basically, until you cap costs on prescription drugs, this whole issue isn't going to change. And for the affordability, I mean, for drugs that cost $200, 20% off at $200 is something, but is it really going to bridge that affordability gap that the majority of folks, I think, in this county are facing, as well as the nation? So, I concur with Supervisor Colfax. It's a nice sort of sentiment, and I would like to see where we really go with this. If any studies can be done to see, who could access prescription drugs that couldn't because of this discount. What is the discount really doing? And we can't forget that the bigger picture is really got to change, because until it does, I do think, in concurring with Supervisor Colfax, is it keeps us spinning over here on something that really is a non-solution to the problem. And I think that it's really critical that we have that analysis, we put that on the table. At the same time, if it benefits citizens, great. We can really actually provide some medication to people and relieve their budgets. That's a good thing. But it really is only window dressing to a very, very significant real problem. I was hearing the statistics recently on the radio that the U.S. spends double what European countries do on healthcare, including prescription medication, and we are like 30th in the world or something in that realm in terms of the quality of care and the access to care for the majority of folks. So obviously this is a failed model, and continuing on this path of not addressing the costs isn't going to get us there. It reminds me of what happened with Medicare, and it was passed a number of years ago. It's basically been a fiasco, really not providing a lot of